Good evening everybody, hope you are all well. Bear with, my system is a wee bit on the slow side today. It's not playing ball. It really isn't playing ball at all. There we go. Right, hello everybody, hope you're all well. Just waiting for your comments to come up. So good evening Kim, she's first in the house tonight. Hello Gemma, hello Carol, hello Sue, hello another Carol, hello Maxine, Francis and Paula. Hello everybody. So tonight we're going to be doing something a little bit different, which as the sun is shining, these would look so beautiful in our gardens. I've just bought mine in from the garden so that I can actually show you. Now, so this is totally beginner friendly, but you will need some tools if you haven't got any already. So we're going to be making these lovely little wire wrap bees. The dragonfly, I've already done a tutorial on that. That's on YouTube. So this is what we're going to be doing. Now I bought these from the garden centre, these little poles. They're just plant, I don't know what you call them, plant props. And I won't be showing you how to do the leaves. They're just additional extras. And also just to say, if you're watching live now or on the replay a little bit later on, I've actually done bundles for the copper bees and for the silver bees as well, and I think they're £4.50 and you've got everything in there to make two. So we've got the one in the copper, which is the orangey tail, and the one in the silver, which is the red, I say the tail, the orange head and the red head. Okay, so I've got limited stocks on those. You will need your tools, but there's enough of every little bit to make two. So let's go on the overhead and get cracking. Now, why? There we go. Right, so let's have a little bee within, there we go, let's have a little buzzy bee. Let's put the other one in because it's far easier to have on there. There we go. So in case you're coming to it late to the party, you can actually see what we're making. Now if ever you've done any caged beads before, it will mean something to you if you've done it before. We're following the same sort of process. So what we're doing here is we've got our bead. Let's just bring it back a little bit. And this is a 12mm bead. You can use any bead you like. This is a quartzite and I just like the feel of it. And we're going to use 0.8mm wire, and you measure an inch of wire for every millimetre. So this is a 12mm bead, so I've cut a length of 12 inches of 0.8mm wire. So each of the gauge wires is in your little bundle. So the first things we're going to need is looping pliers. So what we do first of all with the ends of them, so the looping pliers, just to show you them, the further down you go on them, the bigger the loop. So I'm just going to turn a little circle. Now what I would recommend is that you go and snip back into it, snip the end bit off and turn it again. Sounds strange, but it actually makes a difference to how perfectly your circle is formed. So we're going to make a loop both ends. Doesn't matter which way round you have the loops facing. So just turn that loop, chop a bit off, And I dare say that you could probably go bigger with these. I haven't had opportunity to actually make any larger ones, but it'd be interesting to see if anybody actually makes bigger size beads for the garden. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make coils either end. So to make the coils, grip the pliers, your chain nose pliers or flat nose pliers. These are flat nose, onto over your little circle that you've just formed. Guide it with your non-dominant hand. So can you see I'm covering most of that circle, and you need to actually have a little bit of push in this to get it going. So clamp and turn, clamp and turn. Okay, so we make it flat first of all. So we're going to do this circling a little bit, and then we're going to go to the other side to do the same. Now, when I've been teaching this in classes before, sometimes people get really frustrated because they say, I'm doing everything I should be doing, but my circle's not moving. So what you're doing is you're kind of guiding both in. So you need a good clamp and turn. So let's start on this side as well. So cover it 3/4, so you're basically guiding that wire around. Guiding the wire around. So effectively I'm using my finger in my non-dominant hand just to give it a little bit of guidance. Now you have to bear with me. I'll come and have a look at your comments afterwards, because my current screen is taking up all the space and I can't see your comments right now. And it's really important that I see what I'm doing, because we're zoomed in, and when we're zoomed in, that means I've got much smaller work area to work in for you to see, but I wanted to get up nice and close. But I tell you what I'd love to know is how many of you have done caged beads before. How many of you have watched my old tutorials on the caged beads as well? So this reminds me of the old tape recorder. For those of you that have watched it before, you know what I'm going to say. This reminds me of the old 80s tape recorder or the tape decks. Okay, so what we're now going to do is we're going to flip one over. So you've got like a number 8. Just bring that in like so. And as I've said before, reminds me of the 80s Madonna boobies. It always will. Yep, I went there again. Right, so what we're going to do is we're putting this on the round nose pliers, and we're just gently guiding that down. Do the same on this side. Yeah, definitely Madonna boobies now, aren't they? Not for long, I hasten to add. Right, so 0.6mm wire next. I've cut an 8-inch length, and this is going to go up the middle, so we're just going to bend that in half. And just squidge that on the end there. So what we're going to do is bring both of these up through the end bit there. Okay, now I'm hoping that all of these beads are going to fit. Oh, thank goodness, the crystal rondelles fit twice on the 0.6. So what have we got? So these are 5x6mm crystal rondelles. Now I'll be honest with you, these are the sizes that work for me. You can use any beads you like. However, just think of the size of the beads that make sure that they actually fit. Now Yeah, I'm just making sure I've done it right. No, I haven't. Oh, I thought I hadn't. Rewind, rewind. We want one for the tail first before we actually put it on. Rewind, rewind. I really should have had a practice, shouldn't I? I did design these myself, would you believe? Right, now we can thread that up through the middle. And then we'll go for black next. Again, it's down to you as to what colours that you use. You don't have to do the traditional bee colours. I haven't with the one that's on the sample there, but they're still nice and bright. So just to recap, we've pinched the ends using the 0.6 crystal rondelle, only one half of our caged bead, then 1, 2, 3, 4 crystal rondelles. Now we're going to pop the head on, so that's our head bead, and then we're going to bend this round and pop those through the middle hole like so. You see what I'm doing there? And then guide that round. Now it will go out of shape, that's okay too, she says, because what we're going to do now is we're going to actually push that down, and we're going to actually just rejig these little loops a bit. Now, just take your time with it. Now, why is that overlapping that one? We've got a bit of a wire malfunction here, but that's fine, because I always think, at least if I get a little bit of a malfunction, it gives you the opportunity to see how we get out of it. So we're just going to turn that. No, I'm not going to lie, that is not the best one I've ever done at all. So let's just straighten some of these out, because they've gone a bit wonky donkey, haven't they? But I think that's okay. There we go. So that's quite a long bee. If you want it a bit shorter, smaller, you can take some of the crystal rondelles out of it. So this is what we're going to do next, is we're going to part that at the top. So that's our 0.6 mil, and we're going to make the little antennas. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some 0.4 mil, and now we're going to actually wrap the antennas. So you probably only need about 8 inches total. So find the halfway point of the 0.4 mil and wrap it a couple of times round the base of your antennas. So you've got half one side, half another side. Except mine's not half. Okay, and then we're just going to wrap this around the antennas. So what this is doing, it's just making it more decorative, and it's giving it a bit more strength as well. You don't need as much as I said, you really don't. And then we're going to do the same the other side. So wrap around. Let's just zoom in a bit more. There we go. And then I'll have a pause in a moment and just have a quick look at your comments. I mean, obviously, there's no reason why you couldn't turn this into a brooch if you wanted to, a sun catcher, but would love to know some ideas from you as to, you know, what are your thoughts on how and where you could put them. Just thinking you could probably hang them off your branches on your tree outdoors as well, couldn't you? Right, so there we go. So if it's a brooch, then obviously you need to be more conscious of raw ends so that it doesn't catch on clothing. Not so much if it's an ornament outside. So we're going to trim. Let's just trim about a finger width from the end. So I'll just finish this off. Right, let's just make sure they're both the same length. And then before we do the wings, I'll just have a quick look at your comments. So we're just going to actually turn this. So can you see, once I've turned it once, I'm just letting that sit inside of the other one. Like so. But as you can see, these are so quick and easy to make. I say easy, but as I've said before, I'm always very reluctant to say easy because we all find different things easy and so on, don't we? So it's up to you how you kind of bend them. If you perhaps want to actually give it a bit of curve, like that. I quite like having a bit of a curve in it. Well, that didn't work well, did it? Anyway, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but still, it is going outdoors. So let's have a quick look at your comments. I'm just going to refresh the comments because, as usual, oh, lots of comments. How lovely. Hello, Mandy. Hello, Christine. Hello, Susie. Hello, Barbara, sitting in the garden watching. Rachel, hi. All, just saw Olivia out. Oh, bless her. I loved that picture of Olivia. She looked so cute in her little sun hat and her glasses. Hello, Jackie. Yes, that is a good tip about the little trim off. It does help. How long is the starting wire? The starting wire, if you have a 12mm bead, it's 1 inch for every millimetre of your bead. Okay, so to answer the question, 12 inches, and 8 inch. Oh, thank you, Maxine. So Paula hasn't made cage beads before. You make the coiling look really easy. It is when you've done it for a while, but it can be tricky to begin with. I'm glad you like the look of them. Maxine's never done them before, but hopefully we'll have a go. Sue did watch and had a go. Fantastic. Tape decks were well before my time, so I don't know what you mean. No, of course you don't, Kim. Perish the thought. Paula remembers tape decks. I remember taping the radio and the top 10. I wouldn't do the 40. I'd wait for the last top 10 and record them every week. Hello, Tui. Yeah, exactly. Linda says to Kim, is your nose growing? She remembers tapes, rewinding them with a pencil. Absolutely. Absolutely. We'd love to see pics of where you use them in. Do you mean pics of caged beads, that would be amazing. Yeah, on a smaller plant stake, a stake, that's it, Paula, to put a plant pot indoors. Yes, brilliant. Thank you for sharing the link on the kits. Just to recap, if you're late in coming, we have the little kits available as well, because I know a lot of the time people say, oh gosh, I don't know what I need to order. So I've sat and I've made up kits so that you've got everything, the seed beads, the wire, you just need the tools. Right, so finally we are going to make this little one's wings. So you need some excess so that you've got some wire left to wrap around the stake. I'm not going to lie, it's actually quite difficult to get round the stake without it dropping. So if anybody has got any ideas, let me know. I do think possibly like floral tape might do the job. Florist tape. I tried washi tape, but that just didn't work. So let's say now if we say I have cut a length of 16 inches, but I just need to make sure that you've got enough in your kits with what I'm telling you. So let's go for 10. Let's go for 10. I'm cutting it down to 10. Sorry to be so vague. Right, okay, so find your halfway point. This is 0.4mm wire. Find your halfway point, wrap it around the middle part of your bee. You will, or I should say underneath your big bead, you will need to thread it underneath one of the wire wraps for it to work. So there you go, it's just done a little wrap around there. So you've got 2 lots of beads. You've got, some of them do vary slightly, some of them are shiny, some of them are matte. So you've got these and you've got these in the kit with a slight variation. Now I counted 25. These are size 8s, but to be honest with you, you can really use any size you like. You know, I don't think it really matters. So 5. Right, I know that's not right. I'm going to do what Trisha normally says and measure it so that you know. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 25 beads transpires to 2 inches in length. So we're going to bring that around. Like so. Just move that out of the way. The difficult part with this bit is just getting them so that there's no gaps in the wings. Just reminding myself how I did it. Okay, so get all the tension together and then pinch around the wires and twist. There we go. And surprisingly enough, even though it's actually quite a fine wire, it actually is quite sturdy. So we're going to have that spare bit at the bottom, and then you're going to do the same again, 2 inches worth of seed beads. These are Czechoslovakian seed beads that are in your kit. So what we'll do, we've got plenty of time. I thought I would make one of the bees up from each kit. So this is the sort of traditional one, which is in the copper wire. Just bear in mind, if you're going to be putting this outside, it will be exposed to the elements. Personally, I think that's quite nice, but it's just making you aware of it as well. There we go, that's 2 inches. Right, so bring it round. You want a little bit of a gap between the last beads and the end so that you've got somewhere to twist it. Okay, not too much though. So make sure that you've got no gaps in seed beads. And there you go. So you can then just arrange your buzzy bee in whatever way you want. Bring these down. So basically you've got some wire left to actually wrap it around the actual stake. This is a kebab stick. They fit quite nicely. So what I've done on this one is I've just literally wrapped it. That's actually, it'll go round, but it's pretty, you know, it's pretty secure. And don't forget your dragonflies, you can do those as well from my tutorial. So that's one buzzy bee. So let's just do a little catwalk. Let's do a catwalk bee so you can see. There you go. And then obviously you can rearrange these as well. I think they're so sweet. So that's that one. Let's just have a look and see if you've got any questions. Right. A nice colourful butterfly would be nice, or a kaleidoscope of them, absolutely. And the dragonfly or stroke butterfly is actually on my YouTube channel. You can view that, Beads by Vachil. Butterfly would be of interest. Florist tape, very excellent and easy. I suppose what you could do with the florist tape is you could possibly try and tape on top of the wire. That might help it stick a little bit. So let's start from the beginning. Let's do the silver one now, and it's just an opportunity just to reinforce the learning, really, you know, reinforce what we've learned. So now what size is this? Oh dear, he's gone. Yeah, that's within reason, a 12mm bead as well. This time we'll do it with the clear size 8 seed beads. And let's just put away the other ones. So just to reconfirm then, when you're making the cage, it is 1 inch for every millimetre of size. So this is a 12mm bead, so therefore you cut 12 inches of 0.8mm wire. So we're going to turn a loop either end, so just turn that, and then we're going to chop a bit off the end of the loop just to help make it a little bit neater. And then we're going to do the same the other side. But I would so love you to share any of the makes. It doesn't matter whether or not, you know, perhaps you didn't feel it was a great success, your first one. Don't worry, please just share it, because, you know, it just, what you might think might not look so good, it will sort of inspire other people. And, you know, take your photographs in the garden with your bees, and let's get sharing in our Beaders of Beads by Vachil. And don't forget, every month we have one giveaway winner that I choose every month. Congratulations, Paula, she's this month's winner. And we also give awards out to the best jewellery maker, the best mixed media. So we have a number of awards and recognition on there. And please do share your makes from the tutorials. Other things as well are always welcome. Love seeing everybody's crafty makes. And our lovely Linda that's with us always brightens our day with a post. She posts every day, and it's just a lovely way, even if it's hello everybody, have a lovely day, it's a lovely way to connect. And Linda takes us on a tour every now and then around the gorgeous gardens that she works at. And we really do appreciate, I know Linda works very hard, she works full time and still finds time every day to put a post up for us. Right, so you can do some of it by hand if you want to. Just eyeball it so they're about the same size. Okay, tape deck stage. Then we're going to flip it so it's a figure of 8. And then we are just going to ease it into the Madonna booby shape. There we go, and that one. I know I'm always getting myself into botheration, aren't I? It's just the depth that varies. Right, there we go, Madonna boobies. And 6.6mm wire. What did I, 8mm, 8 inches, 8mm won't get you anywhere, will it? Bring both ends together, pinch the ends. And what have I done with the crystals? There they are. These aren't actually the same colour, they're a different colour, but they're just what I had left without actually opening up anything else, any other strands. Right, so I've hairpinned that. Just pop that onto the end, and then we are going to go down through the hole at the bottom, and then we're going to add one black or whatever colour you choose to use, one amber colour, Vogue, that was it, wasn't it? That was a video, Madonna boobies. Oh dear, the things you remember. Right, okay. This one has got a red head to it. I think it still looks pretty effective. Let's try it this time without that extra one, just so that you can see what it looks like if you're making a slightly smaller bee. Bend it over, pop it through the end like so, and it's this bit that it starts, can you see it's starting to go slightly out of shape, but that's okay. Just guide it gently, and then just open up these coils and just untwist it a little bit just to loosen those coils off a bit. It's that one that always goes slightly out of shape. There we go, that's a bit better, isn't it? So that's where we're at. So part that for the antennas. And then we need a little bit of 0.4. So the 0.4 I've cut this time is 8 inches, but I don't honestly think we need that much. So wrap both ends just below the bottom of the antennas. So you've got half one side, half the other. And then we're just going to wrap, so this is 0.4, I'm going to wrap that so that those little coils sit side by side. Now the good thing with this wire wrapping is there's not really any wire weaving. I mean, that's the greatest extent of wire weaving you're doing is those turns. So hopefully, you know, it won't create too many problems for people's hands. I find that lots of wire weaving can be particularly uncomfortable on the hands. I honestly don't know how these wire workers do it day in, day out. Your hands must become accustomed to it. I mean, it just shreds your nails, doesn't it? So it's always good to have nail varnish on when you're doing wire wrapping, because if it takes anything off, it's the nail varnish, not the top of your nail. So there you go. As you can see, I've still got lots left. So cut with a flat part, that part up against the wire, so that gets a tighter one as opposed to going in that way. So just tidy that up a little bit. So the other way that you can do this is literally just do a curl at the bottom. So we'll just do slightly differently this time. So just turn a loop, one single loop, do the same this side. There we go, and then another 8-inch piece. We're going to go around the middle there, but you will need to thread one of them through the coils. There we go. And then 2 inches of seed beads either side, which is roughly about 25. But this isn't anybody else's pattern. This is a pattern that I have made up myself, just having a light bulb moment really, and just thought they'd be very nice to do. So if you're sharing your make on any other sites, it'd be really lovely if you could credit me for the design. Or if you're selling it, it just helps to help grow my own community, because other people might think, oh, I'll go and have a look. Go and have a look at what tutorials there are. Right, okay, so that's roughly 2 inches. So those are silver lined seed beads, size 8, but you can use any size you like. 15s might be a bit tricky. So as you can see, you want a little bit of spare wire there, twist at the bottom and bring that down. Haven't left myself a lot of wire on that side. But if there's any other insect or anything you think we could adapt this to, I was trying to think about ladybirds and how we could adapt maybe a ladybird to it, but I'm not quite sure, other than maybe the shape of the wings, and maybe getting some black dots on there somewhere. I'm not quite sure how I could do it, but if you've got any ideas, let me know. Right, so that's that one. Bring that round. Make sure all of your beads have dropped down. There we go. That's been particularly stubborn. And twist. just be careful of over twisting, because if you over twist you will snap the 0.4mm wire. So there you go. There's still plenty of wire on both. So that is your copper one, that is this one. So what I'll do just before we sort of time out is just show you what what's in the little bundles that I've got. That's a good shout. Sue is just saying, could you coat them in clear nail varnish to protect them outside? It's certainly worth a go. Certainly worth a go. He's a really cute bee. I'm so pleased you like it. Florist tape around the stick, great shout. Be good to decorate the gazebo. Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? Attach it to your sort of lights. The beaders of beads of Bashir, brilliant. Linda said, it's a pleasure to do it and makes me smile to know I've brightened someone's day. You certainly do, Linda. When I did it, my wire looked a mess. Think I need to practice. It's all about practice. All about practice. It's amazing how after you've done a couple, you get familiar with, you know, how it feels, what you're doing. So always persevere if you can, unless of course it's painful for you to do so. So this is the This is your 0.4 wire on here. You've got the seed beads for 2 different types of wings, and then you've got the 0.8 and the 0.6, which I've got marked in there as well. So you've got enough wires to make 2 bees. So that's the copper one. So what's that, 225 a bee? And then obviously once you've done it and you've got the materials, you kind of plain sailing, because you'll be knowing what you need to buy. You can buy the wire separately as well. These are magnesite, red magnesite crystals, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8 and 2 different seed beads, but the seed beads in this one are shiny rather than matte. So, you know, you could make 4 bees for what, £9? So there you go. Let's just have a quick refresher on the comments. But I hope you enjoyed it. It was something a bit different, wasn't it? And I can't wait to see what you all decide to do, and you know, how you decide to utilize the bees and how you find the pattern as well. So if I was popping this on, so the kebab sticks, literally you get them from the grocery store, don't you? Right, I forgot I wasn't on the overhead then. So I would literally pop it on there and just wrap that wire around. But isn't that so cute? I think they're so effective. The other thing you could do is, if you had a bit more 0.4mm wire, is you could wrap it round and actually twist it so it sticks out a little bit more as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I will eventually pop this onto YouTube so that you can see, but don't forget, I mean, I think you've got something like 104 YouTube tutorials. Admittedly, some of them are really old and I'm like a rabbit in headlights and not liking being on video at all, but the good thing is, it's like everything, it's with practice you get a little bit more confident, but still they're still on there. But take care, have a lovely Thursday, and I will speak to you next on Monday to bring you this week's news and announcements. Okay, take care. Bye.